is Terrence Wong, and I would put hot sauce in my immigrant jam.
Episode of Immigrant Jam, le podcast. And now finally it makes sense that I'm saying le podcast because I, Lucy Paul, your host, I'm in Paris. Oh my God, mind blown. I am actually in Paris. That's right, I'm in Paris, France. Ever heard of it? And it's amazing. I'm sorry we skipped a week, and I'm sorry. I apologize, but it was for a good reason. I'm on tour. I was in Athens. I was in Berlin. Now I'm here in Paris. And last night I did my show here at La Seine Barbès. It was amazing. And I had an amazingly talented comedian open for me, and that's Terrence Wong. Woo! Terrence. Terrence is American and lives in Paris. An American in Paris. Oh my God. And his parents are also immigrants in the States, so we'll find out all about that. We'll find out about his experience, or as they say here, experience. And all the good stuff. Terrence, how are you?
I'm good. I didn't know you were going to become French.
Well, I know. You know, I am full of surprises, or as they say, surprises.
It was a nice surprise.
I also ate my body weight in croque monsieur today, and I don't eat meat. But I
okay, you had the
was
meat
too shy. My French is really bad now, and I was too shy to like mumble, "Can I not have jambon on it?" So I was like, I'll just eat the ham.
Okay, so when it comes to morality and then being brave with speaking another language, we choose to be just
pussy.
Eat the meat.
A pussy, a spineless pussy. Yeah, exactly, absolutely, 100% accurate. You know what? I also thought when in Rome.
Okay.
You know, when in Rome, and I'm Jewish, so there you go. You can hate me for that or whatever. Shana Tova, by the way. It is Rosh Hashanah today. But Terrence, tell us about you.
Yeah, so as you're saying, I'm American. I've been living in Paris for almost 5 years, and I actually started doing stand-up in Paris. I've never performed in the US, actually. So I started about 4 years ago, and a year and a half ago, I quit my job to try and do stand-up full-time.
Woo! What was your job?
I used to be a software developer.
A software developer, and that's what brought you to Paris in the first place? And so in what way? Like your company was like, do you want to go to Paris?
So I used to live in Barcelona,
Oh,
actually. I've been in
okay,
Europe
the
for a while.
plot thickens.
Yeah.
What brought you to Barcelona?
For a different job.
Okay. What was that job?
I was a software. I was a software developer for a different company in Barcelona.
Okay.
And yeah, I was living in the U.S., but I'd done a study abroad in Germany when I was in university, and I really enjoyed that. So I thought I would enjoy living in Europe, and so eventually applied for a job in Barcelona. Moved there in 2016, worked for 2 years, and then in 2018 took a different job that brought me to Paris.
And you grew up, what did you say, Cleveland?
Yeah, Cleveland.
Cleveland, what a highly exciting place.
The most exciting, Cleveland, Ohio.
Ohio. I actually, the first time I went to Ohio was a year ago, and it lived up to the stereotypes of being extremely...
Did you go to Cleveland?
I went to, that's where Cleveland, where the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cleveland. I always say Cleveland, and what's the other one?
Columbus.
Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm so ignorant when it comes to America. I always get those mixed up, but I went to Cleveland, and I went to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Very disappointing.
I haven't been in a very long time.
I thought it sucked, man. I really thought it sucked. I was like, this sucks.
It's a bit confusing why we get it.
Yeah, that too.
Well,
because then there truly would be nothing. If you wouldn't have that,
yeah.
like, you would have nothing, right? And I don't mean to offend anybody from Ohio. Although, you know what? Fuck you people from Ohio. I'm joking. We have sadness.
Yeah.
We have sadness. But your parents, you said your mom is Filipino?
Yeah, she's from the Philippines.
And your dad, you said, is ethnically Chinese, but also grew up in the Philippines.
Yeah, he
Is
was
that right?
born in the Philippines and then moved to the U.S. when he was 12.
Okay.
So really, he's more American now than anything else.
So you're the first person I've had on that's like you're like immigrant cubed,
Yeah.
kind of.
Yeah.
Because you're an immigrant yourself here, obviously. Your parents are immigrants in the U.S. and your dad was an immigrant in the first country he lived in. Yeah. So immigrant cubed. There you go.
Still end up loser.
So what's it like here in Paris? Because on a serious level, I have friends who've lived here or tried to live here, and they said that you never get in here. Like they always consider you a foreigner and stuff. Have you had that experience, or what's your experience been like?
For me, I guess it would be true. I'm not going to blame that on Paris or the Parisians. I could have tried harder to. You definitely need to be able to speak French, and not just. I would say.
And not just citron pressé.
Exactly.
Or
the first thing you have to master is asking for your sandwich without ham. It's the first test, and if you can't pass this test, you'll never get in. So,
but then once you know how to ask for your sandwich without ham, they know you're not French because you're asking for a sandwich without ham.
That is true.
And so you're fucked either way. That's why you go.
They would just tell you no.
Croque monsieur. Oui, oui. Bien sûr. Avec jambon. Those are French noises.
Yeah, but so you're asking if I feel, I guess, integrated or if they've let me in.
Yeah.
And there was a period of time where I was doing a lot of French stand-up, actually.
In French?
In French.
So you speak French?
I speak it decently well, but definitely not fluent, and I would just memorize everything I had to say. And so that was the closest I felt integrated, because I met some people and it was kind of friendly, but I could never form the same level of friendship as I have with the other people who I do stand up with in English, because our conversations would be kind of surface level, and that's to know.
Because you memorize everything you have to say. You're like, great weather. They're like, I'm heartbroken. You're like, well, I don't like rain. They're like, what the hell is this guy's problem?
It
This
always
guy's an
shocked
asshole.
them. They're like, we thought you just memorized the stuff on stage.
Yeah,
We didn't
exactly.
think you would memorize this part
So that
too.
means, though, comedy-wise, you couldn't, when you were on stage doing stand-up in French, you couldn't do crowd work.
No.
Wow, that's crazy. So what would happen to you if somebody said something or heckled, or do people not heckle here?
They do. Some
I feel like
of the time.
Parisians have a heckler vibe, just in general. They all seem like they would heckle.
So, I'm trying to remember now because it's been a while. I think overall it's about the same. You have hecklers every now and then, but most people understand what it means to go to a live show and be a polite audience
No,
member.
we want stereotypes. You're like, Parisians are people like everyone else, Lucy. Like, no, they're assholes. No, they've been really nice to me.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. And so, is it true, the stereotype that if you speak to them in English, they reply in French? If you speak to them in French and you have an accent, they reply in English?
Yeah, so mostly true. I've had experiences here and there that really felt like that. I only heard about stuff like this. That can't be. I went to a restaurant once and I was talking to the person I went with, and we were speaking in English because that's just the context in which we met. But he could speak French, and then the waiter came by and then told us, "We only speak French in this restaurant. You must stop." Yeah.
You're fucking kidding.
Yeah.
Whoa, that's on some Nazi shit.
It was kind of funny is that he's obviously an older guy, and it was a French restaurant that served French Vietnamese fusion food because his wife was Vietnamese.
What?
Yeah.
Was he joking?
No.
Whoa. You're like, it was an older guy. He had a little mustache and a side part, and he was wearing this brown suit.
Yeah, I thought he looked familiar.
Oh my god, that's insane.
Yeah.
What the hell, Paris? That's fucked
The
up.
food was good, so I just
And you
kinda held
didn't
my
say,
tongue.
what about tu femme, motherfucker?
It was what I was thinking in my head. I was like, do not like.
So you
She's
think
on my side. Look at her.
So time out. So time out. You give me shit for not having no integrity when it comes to ham, and you have no integrity when you're like the food was good, so I didn't mind the Nazi, the nationalist owner of the restaurant.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, I'll do a little
Right.
Heil salute for a good bowl of fucking pho. No, pho's not something that comes in a bowl. Is it?
It does, and it's also Vietnamese, like his wife.
That's why I was making the reference,
Yeah.
because it was a Vietnamese fusion restaurant.
Yeah.
So it was like a faux croissant.
They have this
That's a
like
pun. A faux croissant, like a fake croissant, like a faux, but it's PHO.
a faux sant.
Faux.
Yeah.
What would it be?
What would a fake croissant be?
Yeah, what would a fake croissant be? A donut?
Ah.
No, but a faux PHO croissant. Like a croissant. Oh, you know what it would be? It would be like a soup dumpling, but it's made of croissant.
Ooh, someone make it.
Someone make it, and then people can line up for it in New York.
It'll go viral on TikTok. The friends will hate it.
A faux croissant. I love that. But wow, so that doesn't bother you though. Experiences like that, they don't get under your skin or make you feel like an outsider or sad or.
This one didn't bother me so much, but I think it's just because when it was a guy this old, am I gonna,
You're
have
like,
this
you're gonna die
affect
soon.
my day? Exactly.
Yeah, you're like, yeah, I give you like 3 more years, Grandpa. Okay? That's funny. Okay, so when it's younger people, it hurts more?
I guess, yeah, I have different expectations, but I think I haven't had an experience like that with a younger person.
What do you love about Paris?
Yeah, good question. What do I love about this city? I love the number one thing I love the most right now is the unemployment benefits.
Ooh, take that, America! So the social system.
Yeah, so this is crazy.
This,
I got unemployment benefits for 2 years.
wow.
Yeah.
So what is that? Like what's the percentage of your salary that you're getting?
It was, if I recall correctly, a little less than 60.
That's a lot. Yeah.
For 2 years.
Just every month.
Every
What's
month.
the thinking behind that? Like, are you supposed to be looking for another job, or are they like, just chill, that's traumatic to lose your job, we get it, eat a croissant?
Yeah, so the system for securing your unemployment benefits, every month I have this app on my phone, which is the Unemployment Office's app. And you fill out a questionnaire. And the questionnaire is about 3 questions long, which is, have you worked this month?
How many fromage have you eaten?
Yeah.
How many fromages?
How many fromage? What is it? Have you been sick?
Okay.
Would you like to stay subscribed to your Poll and Flaw service, your unemployment office service? And that's it.
There's more questions when you check out at a CVS.
Yeah.
Would you like to donate? No. Are you a bad person? Yes.
Yeah. So that's
Whoa.
That's all they ask.
You're kidding.
I did have to do once a phone interview where they were really checking, are you looking for a job?
You're like,
But-
I once did have to make love to a French man, but that's just required by the unemployment office.
The economy's a tough game out here, right? We don't make our money so much. The money comes from the sexual favors. I don't know, insider secret. That's
Wait, so really, that's insane. So what's the like socio-political thinking behind that? Like, are they just like they're like it's gonna like they're. So what is the incentive for people to get a job if it's like that?
Yeah, so this is the thing. That was a big part of, they had this election recently with Macron, and who won,
Right.
and then the far right,
The woman.
more than one far right candidate, but the woman, Marine Le Pen,
Right.
one of her policies was to take away the unemployment benefits specifically from people like me.
That's one way to mobilize all the
immigrants
slackers.
and expats,
Yeah, to get off their couch and vote. They're all like, fuck you, we're going out to vote now. You're trying to take it away from us.
Yeah.
I'm
and
kidding.
so-
I'm not calling people on unemployment slackers. I'm joking, just to make it clear. Some people don't understand jokes. That was a joke. I love people on unemployment. I think everybody should get unemployment. I think working hard is overrated.
I had a lot riding on that election, so.
Yeah. Wow. What's the thing you hate the most about Paris?
Ooh. I don't know if it's the thing I hate the most, but their attitude, their hubris when it comes to food.
Okay. So you think it's not
good, but it's not all that.
It's not all that?
Especially some of the opinions they have are just.
Like what?
If you ask any French person, they will tell you that McDonald's in France is better.
Oh yeah, but that's true.
No,
Yes, it is.
It's McDonald's.
No, it's better. It is better.
For me, it's the same.
I mean, I haven't been to McDonald's in a long time, but I remember growing up in New York and then coming to Europe and like going to Burger King, and you were like, whoa, like this is like not, like this burger doesn't have crabs and
don't
fucking
say
gonorrhea
this to
on it.
me.
No, I'm serious.
That's
I remember
where
that
the
experience.
flavor actually comes from. It enhances the experience.
That's true. Good point. Good point. Okay, so you don't think McDonald's is better, but time out. What the fuck are you doing eating at McDonald's here?
France or Paris is a terrible late night food city.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
so
thought all the
after
little crepe stands are open at late night.
they're open. I'd say they're overrated. It's
Okay.
it's a crepe, right? Their kebab is horrible,
Okay.
and yeah, it's kebab, right? But after 11 o'clock, it's the only options you're gonna find are kebab and McDonald's and like Chinese restaurants that are like kind of like a catering kind of like the dishes are like kind of served in catering style and like the trays.
Oh.
So it's not like
So you have to get a whole tray of food?
right when it has like it's warmed by like a single candle.
Right, okay, got you. Okay, wow. Okay, so what you hate most about Paris
The
is that
hubris
the
towards
hubris, just towards McDonald's.
towards food in general. Like
Okay.
they'll claim that all of like that their produce.
And
is
you're
far
saying this coming
superior.
from Cleveland, Ohio.
Cleveland, Ohio. It's the Paris of the Midwest. That's what people have been saying for a long time. Excellent.
Have they
burgers.
actually? No, okay. I'm like, did I
The
miss
Paris
that?
of the Rust Belt.
The Paris of Ohio.
Yeah.
The Paris of Central Ohio. The Paris of the area around Cleveland.
The jewel of Lake Erie. It's
What was
great
it
place
like
to raise your
growing
family.
up there? Did you grow up in a diverse place or no?
For general American standards, I would say it's diverse, but certainly not diverse compared to New York City or any type of. I lived in a suburb,
Okay.
so there were actually. So Cleveland, from what I remember, is supposed to so the most number of Jewish people are in Israel, then Boca Raton, Florida.
No,
and
then New York. New York is after
or maybe
Israel.
by percentage.
New
Sorry,
York
by
has the highest,
By percentage
biggest
also.
population after Israel.
Yeah, not total population. I mean percentage.
Percentage relating to the amount of
For
other
sure, New
people.
York has.
Yes, I'm like,
more.
what the fuck are you
Yeah,
about
yeah,
to
no,
say?
no way.
Cleveland has more Jews than New York?
Yeah, but by percentage.
Yes,
So
okay.
it means I went to like 15 bar and bat mitzvahs.
Mm.
It's kind of diverse.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, absolutely, it is.
Yeah.
No, that's true. Most people in the States grow up never having met a Jew until they
Yeah.
come to New York or
Yeah.
LA.
Yeah, I went
And then
to.
they're like, ah!
Yeah,
and
not
then
just
they're
the
like, oh.
bar and bat mitzvahs. Went to. Do you know what's the name of like the service for Passover? Does it have a specific name?
Seder.
Seder.
Mhm.
I've gone to Seder for 4 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you eat gefilte fish?
We ate gefilte
You look
fish. We ate
traumatized.
lots of
You're like, I went for
food.
4 hours.
It's a pretty intense thing. When I was like 10.
Yeah.
And they're family friends, and that's a nice thing to like. I think be exposed to as a child in hindsight.
Okay, why do you
But-
think that?
Just to understand different culture, like
Yeah.
understand the significance of because now I still remember going to this 20 years later,
Right.
and one of the most important holidays, right?
Yeah.
But 4 hours of a very religious ceremony, a bit long to sit through as a 10-year-old child.
Totally. It's an intense ceremony
Yeah.
also because it's about suffering,
Yeah,
sadness, a lot of sadness.
yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, I think that's it, right? I mean, this podcast is called Immigrant Jam, and I have a live show called Immigrant Jam, and it's a big part of my life to be surrounded by, talk about, and think about like the immigrant experience, and what it does to people to grow up without that experience, what it does to people who grow up with a lot of diversity around them, and it's everything really, I think, it really makes a difference when you have that in your life as a kid.
Yeah.
And you that is kind of, in your subconscious mind, you just inhabit that world where you understand there's different cultures, different ways of doing things. And most importantly, I think growing up like that, then you don't have any fear, right, of something different and of people that are different, because you understand that we're all the same and we have different ways of doing things, or different things that we believe in, or different things that we eat, but we're the same, but we just do things differently, so I think that's what it is, that like it takes the fear away, and I think a lot of hatred towards immigrants is based in fear.
Yeah, misunderstanding, and ignorance.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. So you didn't have, growing up, you didn't feel that your immigrant parents were, I don't know, a lot of people with immigrant parents grow up like embarrassed, or they want to fit in, or they like wish they weren't whatever they are, and they wish they were American or more American, or whatever that means.
Certainly, of course I felt this, right? But the thing is, my parents are also, my dad moved to the U.S. when he was 12.
Yeah.
She's very American, and my mom, because she's from the Philippines, of Asian countries, is one of the most Western.
Right.
They were colonized by the Spanish.
Yeah.
And then the Americans were there for I think over 50 years.
Yeah.
And so she doesn't like have an accent when she speaks English or anything like this. And so I feel like I don't have like maybe the stereotypical image of when someone thinks of a child growing up with immigrant parents. Like if do you know the TV show Fresh Off the Boat?
I haven't watched it, but I know what it is.
With Eddie Huang.
Yeah.
So I think that's what a lot of people think of when they think of an Asian American child with Asian immigrant parents. That the parents like send you to school with like a really ethnic lunch that smells really funny for Westerners, and that at home it's like very much like this is a Chinese household or this is an Asian.
Well, that was my experience,
Yeah.
even though I'm not Asian. That was definitely my experience. I had lunches that were weird to the people. They weren't smelly, but they were weird. And my parents, only spoke German at home, and it was very, European, whatever. But I had a guest on recently, a comedian called Sura, and she's adopted. She was adopted from Korea as a baby by a white family. And she told me that, like, she didn't want to be Asian. She, like, asked her mom if she would wear sunglasses, people would still realize that she was Asian. And I've had people on that have had so many different types of experiences with that, that like I've had, Anjali Bhimani, who's Indian, she's like, I didn't have any bullying. I didn't have, even though it wasn't very diverse, but I never felt like an outsider, even though, I'm Indian. And
where did she grow up?
She grew up in Orange County.
Okay.
So
Good
she was
for
like,
her.
good for her. And then there's people who are like, okay, I always felt like an outsider, and so that's why I always ask what the experience was, because I think that it does really also depend, because I think anyone who doesn't look white already is like exposed to that experience,
of course I experienced
right?
that. Yeah, I remember definitely being made fun of just for being Asian, as a little kid.
And was that like was that something you could just shake off, or how'd you deal with that?
Yeah, that's a good question. I feel like maybe when I was really, really young, didn't even understand, and maybe it didn't affect me so much because I didn't maybe understand it as like they're making fun of me for being Asian. Just like, well, these are really neat bullies.
Right.
And so of course that upset me, but I probably didn't understand. And then later, I think you know, a lot of the, at least in my case, a lot of the shit I got was from my friends. You know, from white friends, and you're maybe kind of desensitized to it. It's a bit messed up when you look back at like.
Yeah, kids are cruel, right?
Yeah,
that sort of a thing.
they're like posting pictures on Facebook of just like random Asians and like very like a Japanese game show where they're wearing like a weird costume and they're just like tagging me in all these photos, and then everyone's giggling and I'm like, yeah, that's funny. Yeah, kind of like at the time, yeah, I probably didn't have any issue with it, but looking back, if I had like kids, I'd don't do that.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And here in Paris, what's that like? Because I know that, like, you know, there's a reputation that the French can be pretty racist.
So I think for the most part, I haven't experienced so much racism towards me. But of course, you know, I'm not often, you know, I'm hanging out with a lot of expats or people who are used to being around other kinds of people. But certainly it has happened. I had one time, I was in Marseille, and it was, we were waiting for the train, and there this group of young French kids. And Marseille is like, around the train station is kind of dirty, so there are rats running around. And these kids were kicking the rats and killing them.
Whoa.
Right? And I think anyone who saw this was like, you know, or at least for me, you know, upset, like they shouldn't do that. And so, but I'm also a bit scared if like if they're, you know, gonna kick the rats.
Right.
I don't know, I don't feel super comfortable like confronting them, but I was looking at them, like clearly showing that, you know, I thought what they're doing was wrong. And then they said to me in French, like, you're upset because you want to eat them. You know, kind of playing into this that like.
And you were like, you're a hacky comic and you should work on your material. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, okay. And did you reply or did you just walk away?
No, I didn't say anything, especially because it's all happening in French, so it's like, oh, I don't know if I want to get into a verbal battle.
And teenagers are so scary. I'm so scared of teenagers everywhere. I think teenagers are the scariest group of people because they're like unpredictable. They have nothing to lose. That being said, if you French teenagers are listening or watching right now, the ones in Marseille who killed the rats, we need you in New York. Please call us, call the mayor, Eric Adams, and he'll fly you out, put you up, and you can go to town. But that's fucked up. So, yeah, that's fucked up. That's fucked up. But I guess you're shrugging now for those people that are listening and not watching. So you just kind of, it's like a part of life or whatever for you.
Yeah, well, I remember from that experience, I was with two of my friends who are white, and I think it affected them more than it affected me. Because, they care about me, they're my friends, and then probably just shocked at like, wow, that can really just happen to you. Well, it doesn't happen that often, but yeah.
That's an interesting point, right? That like the people that are used to it or that live with this kind of awareness that it could happen every day or, you know, whatever, have found a way to deal with it, and then the people that have the privilege of that not happening to them are the ones that are shocked or upset by it, right? Yeah, that's interesting. That's definitely interesting.
And not for ignorance. It's not like oh my God, racism. Of course they know that racism exists. It's just
but to see it is totally different. Of course, to see it, to experience it, to have, you know, for it to happen to someone you care about, totally different than reading about it. Of course, absolutely. Wow, crazy. And what do you think is the difference in writing jokes in French and writing jokes in English? I mean, besides the fact that it's not your first language, but is there anything else that you like? Do you talk about different things in French when you do stand up in French?
Mostly no. It's incredibly difficult, and props to anyone who does stand up in a language that's not their first language. It's incredibly hard. So I mostly translated jokes but I did have one or two that were specific for a French audience that mostly touched on me being an American
Right.
performing in French
Right,
for
right.
a French audience.
Right.
That doesn't make sense anymore when I'm no longer speaking French and it's expats, right?
Yeah, right. That's wild. Wow, amazing. And you plan on staying here for a while?
Not sure. So the unemployment benefits ends in April, which is also when my visa expires.
Wow, okay.
And so if I don't find a job to extend the visa, then in theory I gotta go.
Okay. Or a woman to marry?
I have a girlfriend.
Is she French?
And she's Lithuanian.
Okay.
That works. Lithuania is okay. It's fine.
What do you mean? But it doesn't work to stay in France, does it? Is
So,
Lithuania in the EU?
yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Okay. Yeah.
But she doesn't want to get married for convenience. She wants to get married for love.
Okay. So you guys
Which I'm on board with.
are in love, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Yes, we are in love, but she lives in Brussels. I live
okay.
here.
Yeah.
And so
But it's not that far.
It's not. Yeah, it's not far.
How far is it?
4 hours by bus.
4 hours
or
by bus.
an hour and a half by train.
Oh, an hour and a half.
Yeah, so we're
Who
very
thinks
close.
in bus minutes anymore?
When you're riding the bus, you tend to think about it.
An hour and a half by train? That's like basically Manhattan to Queens.
Yeah,
Astoria
very nice train ride,
to
but
Brooklyn.
if you ride the bus, then sometimes you can pay like 12 euros.
Insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. And 12 euros, 4 hours, and you can see statues of little boys peeing.
Mannequin piss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know? That's Europe for ya. That's Europe for ya. What do you think anyone who's planning to visit Paris should know not to do here?
What not to do?
What's your Terrence Wong insider Paris don't do Paris list? I don't know why I said Paris twice.
It's actually a really hard question to answer.
Good.
Because I feel like the touristy things in Paris are genuinely live up to the expectations.
But even if it's not like a place to visit, like my don't do in New York tourist tip is do not stop walking in the middle of the sidewalk. If you want to stop, that's okay. You want to look at your phone, something like that, you're lost. It's okay. Move to the side, the right side or the left side. Either side is fine. Just don't stop in the middle. People are always behind you in New York. Just know people are always behind you, next to you. You know, that's my don't do.
Yeah, okay. I'd say don't try to talk to someone about Emily in Paris.
They fucking hate Emily in Paris here, don't they? That is so funny. Don't try to talk to someone about Emily in Paris. What are they gonna do? Punch you in the face? Kick you in the nuts? Club you with a baguette?
So here's the thing. I've watched Emily in Paris. I think it's a totally fine show. And their objections to it, I think, were silly. They're like, it doesn't represent life in France. Emily is such an American who does it, blah, blah. And but it's television, who cares, right? It's not supposed to represent real life. It's like, why isn't Emily riding the metro? She just lives a glamorous life that is not realistic to the Parisian experience. It's like, do you know who created Emily in Paris? It's the guy who created Sex and the City, right? It's supposed to be just kind of goofy, sitcom-y, I guess it's not like a multi-cam sitcom, right? But, you know, this kind of lighthearted television that you can put on in the background while you're cooking, right? We don't need it to represent Paris, it's fine. That's my feeling. Anyways.
A rant over.
So, a rant over. Go watch Emily in Paris season
What?
3 coming out November.
Are you in it?
No, I have no idea.
Why are you doing that? Stop! We're not being paid by Emily
We're
in
big.
Paris.
Lucy
No,
and I
I've never
are
seen.
big
No,
fans
don't drag me
of
into that.
Emily in
No,
Paris.
this is a liability for my reputation. I'm way too cool to watch it. I've never watched Emily in Paris. Please do not put that rumor out there. You know that I currently am. There's a big thing happening online with my character Mercy on Overwatch because Elon Musk You know Elon Musk, right?
Yeah, you had mentioned on stage.
Yeah,
yesterday
so
about
I
this.
did my show here yesterday. Elon Musk, it's been known that Elon Musk plays Overwatch, the video game that I voiced the character on, and it's been known that he likes Mercy. I've heard that, Mercy, the character I voiced. But now he wrote a biography.
He likes to, when he plays as Mercy.
Yeah, and he really likes the character. I knew that. And then now he wrote a biography, and apparently in the biography he said that when he was dating Amber Heard, he told her she looks like Mercy and she should cosplay Mercy, and she did. And then people were like, oh my God, is this a rumor? And then he tweeted a private picture of her in Mercy cosplay. And then I retweeted the picture and said, I can see, the cosplay is kind of like, doesn't look very overwhelmingly amazing. It just kind of looks like a pretty standard Mercy cosplay. So I kind of roasted. I said like, as the real Mercy, I can see the defects in this cosplay as if it was a Tesla. At Elon Musk. I thought it was like a really boring joke. It was like 2 a.m. here in Paris. The internet wasn't working in our Airbnb. I was like, fuck it, I'll send this out. If it goes through, it's great. If not, who cares? I fell asleep and then woke up and my Twitter was blowing up. And now like all these like media outlets are like, there's like all these articles that say like Voice of Mercy trolls Elon Musk. And it's like insane. Like it's like this, that happens. Like when things go viral or whatever, they take on like a life of their own, and you're like, what the hell? And people are like, oh, you're shaming a woman. I'm like, what? This wasn't about her in the first place. And secondly, I was just like, it was just a dumb joke. You know what I mean? Then people are like, oh, look at how ugly you are. I'm like, whoa, fucking relax, everybody. They're like, oh, you're dissing her. I'm like, I'm not dissing anybody. Then one tweet said, I can't read all of them because there's so many, but one reply said, no, this was my favorite one, so funny. No one knows or cares who you are except the porn cartoon addicts. So funny. So I have a reputation.
On this podcast.
Yeah, right. I have a reputation to uphold, so please don't make people think I watch Emily in Paris. Because, okay, I'm dealing with the trolling Elon Musk thing right now. Okay, I don't need another scandal. Don't need another scandal. But yeah, that's crazy. Okay, I always ask my guests if they grew up with any cool sayings or anything like that from the countries that they were either born in or their parents were born in. But it sounds like you had a pretty American upbringing. Yeah. Were there any sayings that your parents used at all?
No, because we spoke English at home. My dad only speaks English.
But even in English? Maybe he was always like, don't lay your finger on your nose because you shall have diarrhea. I don't know.
I'm trying to, I don't recall any.
Okay, well there you go. Sometimes you just didn't grow up with any, except McDonald's is better in America. That's that's what you'll raise your kids on.
Yeah.
But are you ready to play?
Values that
are you ready to play the poll questionnaire?
Let's do it.
Okay, Terrence Wong, by way of Cleveland, Ohio, by way of Barcelona, by way of unemployment benefits in Paris, by way of walking in and straight out of a McDonald's here in Paris, by way of what?
She said haute cuisine.
Yeah, exactly. By way of the Nazi Vietnamese restaurant. No, what am I talking about? Are you ready to play the poll questionnaire?
Let's do it.
Okay.
Bill Gates.
If you were, that was German, Bill Gates. If you were president of the United States of America, what American food would you ban?
Food would I ban? I like American food.
Oh, this is what happens to Americans who leave America.
We gotta keep McDonald's.
Okay, fine. Let's turn around. If you were president of France, what French food would you ban?
Ooh, which French food would I ban?
If you say cornichon, I will kill myself. The little pickles.
I think some of the terrines and pâtés are a bit suspect.
Ooh, gross. Yeah, where they fucking force feed the geese, like stuff food down their throats.
Yeah, I'm not a huge. It's okay, but yeah, I'm not a huge foie gras.
Okay, ban foie gras.
But coming back to American foods I would ban hard shell tacos. I know,
Okay.
which is like Mexican, but it's not Mexican.
I love this.
This is right. It's a disgrace to everyone.
Okay.
So let's ban it.
Okay, Terrence. Okay. You made up for that one. If you were president of the United States of America, if you could deport one American person, who would you deport?
Deport one American person. Ooh. I think I would deport Bo Burnham to France, and he's got to perform at my show.
Oh, good answer. Okay, I like that. Okay, Bo Burnham, you're done, baby. If you could deport one French person, who would you deport?
Well, we're keeping the Vietnamese guy, but we're deporting his wife.
Oh shit, just to teach him a
fuck with
lesson?
him, yeah.
That's so messed up, the poor woman. Oh no. What's the most American thing you've ever done here while living in France? And France.
The most American thing I've ever done living in France.
Excellent tactic of buying yourself more time to think. I know what you're doing. I see it. I see you. Very good. That's a tactic most politicians use when they're asked a question. They just repeat the question back so they have time to think of an answer because they're all fucking airheads.
I think probably pretending I'm not American.
Oh, what'd you pretend you were?
Canadian is an easy one to go
That's
to.
so funny.
Or
Why? Because they hate Americans so much?
just to get out of annoying conversations.
What
when
vibe?
they-
Like what?
A lot of, it's not exclusive to French people actually. I've had this experience in almost every European country I've been in, where when you
They
meet
ask
the
you your
wrong
opinion
person,
of Trump?
exactly, they
Yeah.
want to talk about politics.
Right.
And then you're like, and it's not even Trump, like, they'll like, it could be Obama as well.
Right. Or just in
Because-
general, what's up with
yeah.
Biden? And you're like,
And
but
then you
it's the
have
same
to like,
when you say you're a stand-up comic.
Yeah.
I don't know if this happens to men too, but every person who's not in the comedy world or not in entertainment, you're like, I'm a comic and a comedian, and then they go, what do you think of Louis C.K.? What do you think of that whole thing? I'm like, oh my god, what the fuck? Why? Because that's the only reference they know.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. People try to connect, and the one thing that they have an opinion about or they know is Trump, Biden, Obama, whatever,
Yeah.
right?
Which is okay, but then they want to enter like debate mode.
Right. That's funny. What's the most French thing you've ever done?
Oh, complete disregard for traffic laws.
Oh, okay, all
I
right.
gotta feel something to live when I'm on my bicycle.
I love that. Okay, if you could add an amendment to the U.S. Constitution, what would it be?
I think I can come up with a sincere answer.
Let's see if I can have integrity for a
Yeah.
moment. Never tried that before, but I think it's time.
I like the proposals that people have been making about the Supreme Court, right?
That we vote them in, that they're not appointed.
Increasing the number of judges,
Okay.
or putting term limits.
Yeah,
since
decreasing
it's
the
been
age.
Increasingly used as a political tool.
Yeah.
Clearly, right? We
Right.
have the overturning of Roe v. Wade.
Yeah. I like
They're
this.
clearly used as a political tool now.
Yeah, I like this answer. Okay, I have one more question. It's a pretty serious question. I want you to be serious. You're not going to get why I'm asking this, and that's okay. You don't have to. Terrence Wong, do you know how I can meet David Hasselhoff?
How could you meet David Hasselhoff? So I think you're gonna have to leverage your new Elon Musk connection.
Yes!
And then yeah.
Yes!
And it'll
Absolutely!
get you to Hasselhoff. The Hoff.
How? Elon Musk, the Hasselhoff.
Yeah.
Hassel the Elon Musk.
If
Wait,
anyone
what?
can do it for you, Musk can.
Yeah.
Musk's
In
the
Musk,
man.
we trust. No, we
Yeah.
don't. Okay,
I like
he
that.
sucks
In
so
Musk, we
bad.
trust.
No, we don't. I hate that guy. I was gonna tweet, "Hey, Elon Musk, you suck. Heroes never die." But I was like, I might get fired if I do that.
Is it a reference to the
Heroes
game?
never die. Sorry, is the character's catchphrase. Yes. Okay, little bonus question. What's your favorite French word?
Favorite French word? Putain is a classic.
Putain?
I've started actually saying putain as like a general reaction to when someone offends me, annoys me outside. Not like offends meaning just like if you're like on your bicycle and then
someone cuts you off,
or they like bump into you.
Yes.
But I feel very French, and not in a good way, when it's like, oh, why is my reaction to say putain now? I need to leave this country.
That's funny. Terrence Wong, where can people find you online?
On Instagram, at Terrence W. Wong.
So it's TerrenceW Wong.
Yes.
Look up Terrence. Hit him up, slide into his DMs, send him pictures of McDonald's from around the world. Do whatever you want. Just check him out, follow him, support him. Terrence, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah.
Yes, we're in Paris. It's mind-blowing. This is the most international podcast ever to have existed in all of humanity. I have to thank our patrons. Douchebag Steve, we love you. You're the best. Gio, Mike, Craig, JT, Wesley, Martine, we love you. Martine, you're not a patron, but you are one of our MVPs. You come to the live shows. You're the best. And Lumi, of course, Lumi. How could I not thank Lumi? Lumi's the best. I'm on tour right now. I did my Paris show yesterday. London is next week, September 21st, and Amsterdam, September 23rd. It's going to be a blast. After that, I'm going to Zurich to a Comic-Con. If you're in Paris, go see Terrence's shows. He runs stand-up shows. If you're not in Paris, just check him out. Thank you for listening. Leave us a little 5-star review if you have a minute. It helps so much. If you're watching, like, subscribe on YouTube, do all that. Check out the Patreon. There's extras in there. I release the episodes early there, unedited. You get so much good stuff on there. I love you guys. Sorry for skipping a week of this podcast. I was traveling. Terrence, any final words?
No, thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. We love you. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Perfect. Wonderful.
Fun.
Good. Right? That was a good little convo. Oh shit, did it stop recording? Oh no, it didn't. It just says low power.